Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everyone is having a good end of their week. I wanted to share with you guys real quick because I know I've been having a couple hard days and I've been sharing like how I've been dealing with it or not dealing with it. And yesterday I was doing okay, and then after I made the video, I don't know what happened. I went from 0 to 100. My day just went bad quickly. And at first, I did not turn to God. I went for a walk and I came back and I still, maybe like 20, 30 minutes, and I still was just like, oh my God, I can't. I felt like my head was spinning. I just was not doing well. So then I asked my husband to watch my daughter so that I could have a moment alone. And I came upstairs, came in the closet, and just started crying. I was just like, I didn't like fully pray. I wasn't like, like, God help me. I didn't like talk out loud or anything. I just kind of more just like cried and then would just sometimes whisper or just think things to God and just be like, help me, God, help me. Um, and then towards the end, I closed my eyes and I like talked with God and I felt better. And then it's crazy after that, everything just got better. Um, and so I know that I haven't been perfect about turning to God, taking my own advice and turning to God when I'm run into a problem or I'm worried or stressed or something's happening. But I made progress last night and I did turn to him. It wasn't immediately, but it was within like 30 minutes. So I'd say that's pretty good. I mean, I'm making progress. I don't think that this is something new to me. I'm used to crying to myself about problems and not getting help or talking to someone or confiding in someone. I'm used to just keeping it to myself and bottling it all up. And so, or, just crying to myself and then just sucking it up and moving on. So to now have someone, God, to turn to and lean on and confide in and look to for comfort and help is new for me and difficult for me. And um, so I'm trying. It's definitely a lifestyle change, that's for sure. But I definitely am making progress. I'm making baby steps every day. And um, I think that that's all you can do. I don't think God expects us to overnight just radically change our lives and with him in it. I think it's like any relationship in your life. It takes a little time and adjustment. And you're gonna have bumps in the road and ups and downs, and that's just how life is. So, but anyways, so good news, making progress. And let's get into today's chapters. I'm hoping um, things will become a little more clear what we're going on about, because the past couple days I've been a little like, I feel like there's just a lot of unnecessary chatter going on, but I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll all come in clearer as we keep going.
God has delivered me to the ungodly and turned me over to the hands of the wicked. I was.
Oh, that's such a terrible first verse. How awful does Job probably feel to think that? Oh, that's so sad.
At ease, but he has shattered me. He also has taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces. He has set me up for his target. His archers surround me. He pierces my heart and does not pity. He pours out my gall on the ground. He breaks me with wound upon wound. He runs at me like a warrior.
Oh, that's so sad. Could you imagine? I mean, I know people who have felt this way, but could you imagine just being in such a rough spot and then thinking that God like is like torturing you like that? I mean, I know that God allowed Satan to do these things. In previous chapters, it more at the beginning, it said that Satan went to God and was like, "Can I, go to earth and blah, blah, blah." And God was like, "Well, look at Job. He's, great man, has deep faith or whatever." But, basically gave Satan permission to mess with him, but said, "Don't kill him." So, I mean, he did allow this to happen. God did allow this to happen. But what I have learned is that I have to trust that there's a good reason that God has allowed this to happen. And I just have to have trust in that and faith in that, because I don't know how else to think about it. I just have to trust that God knows what he's doing, and there's a reason. There's a good reason why he's allowed Satan to do this to Job or Job. I don't know. I think the thing that's coming to my mind right now is like my daughter, for example. She's almost a year and a half, and I don't baby her. So when she's running around outside or inside or whatever, and she falls, she falls. Like, I'm not gonna like baby her. She needs to know that if you're gonna be all crazy and run around outside in the dirt and rocks and you fall, you're gonna scrape up your knees a little bit. I've never allowed her to get hurt, but yeah, she's fallen and scraped her knees a little bit. Nothing crazy, no bleeding, nothing like that. But it it's necessary for her to learn these things, that when you're running around and you're not being careful and you fall in the rocks and dirt, you might get hurt. She has to learn that, because if I constantly protect her and constantly grab her and save her from doing that, she's never going to know that that's a possibility, that she could get hurt by doing such and such action. So to her, she's probably thinking, "What the heck, Mom? Why didn't you save me and protect me? Why'd you allow me to fall?" But for me, because I'm older and have more, you know, like wisdom and sight than a year and a half year old, I see that it is good for her to learn certain things, and that I'm not really allowing her to really get hurt. I'm just, there's certain things you have to kind of, loosen the leash a little bit so that they can learn good things that are good for them. Even though it kind of sucks in the moment. No one wants their child to fall and cry a little and hurt, or bleed, or, scrape up their legs, but it's necessary. So I feel like with God, something like that is super, super heightened, because God is way, way, way above us. I mean, he created everything. And so he sees everything. He sees way more than we do. He knows more than we do. He's eons above us as humans. So it makes me wonder, like, if he allowed, even though it sucks and, it's not fun to go through what Job is going through, but I'm sure that there's gotta be like a good reason. And the thing too is, with God too, having faith and trust in him is, yeah, something bad might be going on, or something bad he might have allowed, um which sucks, is horrible, because I know there's some really bad things, and then there's just minor bad things. But we may never know the reason why God has allowed certain things to happen. And that's another part of having faith and trust in God, is just trusting that even if we don't get the answer to why certain bad things happen, we have to trust that God has it all under control. He knows what he's doing. He sees more than us. And honestly, God doesn't have to tell us all the answers. If he wants us to know something, he'll let us know something. But he doesn't have to answer to us. He's God. This is his house. This is his universe. This is his rules. He made us. He doesn't have to answer to us. But I think from my own personal experience with God, I have found nothing but love and light and comfort and guidance. And the more I lean into him, the more I feel that. When I pray to him, the more I feel that. So I just have to trust that even if I don't see it, even if I don't ever get the answers, even if I don't ever know the reasons why, I have to trust that even the bad things, God has his reasons for either allowing it to happen or for doing it on purpose. And it takes me back to when King David's child, newborn, with Bathsheba, I think it was, he didn't allow the infant to live as a punishment for something that King David did. I don't even remember. Oh, it was because he had King David had Bathsheba's husband killed in battle on purpose and tried to cover it up like, oh, he died because he was in battle. But really, he had him murdered because he got Bathsheba pregnant and wanted to get rid of her husband. And so he plotted and had him murdered. And so God gave him a punishment. And that punishment was his infant, killing his infant son. And the first one. And that one really threw me for a loop because I was like, oh my God, that is so horrible. Why would God do that? But then I'm like, he didn't torture the child, and, God gave life. He can take it away. So there's that. We have no control over that. And I have to trust that God knew what he was doing and he had a good reason, and that infant is okay. And it, hopefully, in heaven or something, because it was only an infant. It didn't have any chance to get to know God or Jesus Christ, but I just have to trust that God knows what he's doing. He knows more than me. And I have to trust that even the bad things that I see are good things. I like to use this example a lot with the dogs. Whenever I give my daughter grapes, because grapes can be toxic to dogs, even deadly, possibly. And so whenever I give her grapes, I put the dogs in the kennel. They get mad. They get so mad. They're like, why the heck are you putting us in the kennel? They think they're being punished. And I'm like, and I know that I'm just potentially saving their lives, saving them from themselves, because we all know if my daughter drops a piece of food, the dogs are going to eat it. So I don't want to take any chances. So while she eats grapes, until I clean everything up and get all of it out of the way, they go in the kennel. And I like to view that a lot, where God sometimes does things that we see as bad and not good, but God could be potentially saving us from ourselves or from something or from danger, or who knows. So I have to just trust that what he's doing and allowing Satan to do to Job right now, and how he's feeling, I have to trust that and have faith that God is doing that for a reason, that God is allowing this to happen for a reason. And whether we get the answers or not, we have to just trust in God. And I know that that's not easy. This has been 7 months in the making of me getting to this point. If you've been following along, or you go back and you look at my videos, you'll see that it has been an up and down thing for me every couple of days, where I'm like, okay, I have faith and trust in God, and then something happens and then I don't. And then I'm like, oh, should I have faith and trust in God? Does he know what he's doing? But of course he knows what he's doing. But that's something that, if you're like me, it takes time to build that faith and trust. Because for me, humans have done nothing but hurt me. and have made me realize that I can't trust anyone but myself. And so to then have God and then, to see him allow bad things to happen sometimes, it's like it makes you really like, ooh, can I trust God? But I'm telling you, if you just keep persevering and keep going and keep reading the Bible, keep praying, keep getting to know God, keep seeking him, keep getting to know him and trying to get to know him and keep opening your heart, I'm telling you, if you give him a chance, a real genuine true chance, God will show you that you can trust him and have faith in him even through the bad things. And I know that that may seem crazy to some people or unfathomable, but I'm telling you, it's possible. You just have to give him a chance. You have to give him a chance. You have to.
I have sewn sackcloth over my skin and laid my head in the dust. My face is flushed from weeping, and on my eyelids is the shadow of death. Although no violence is in my hands, and my prayer is pure. O earth, do not cover my blood, and let my cry have no resting place. Surely, even now, my witness is in heaven, and my evidence is on high. My friends scorn me. My eyes pour out tears to God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God, as a man pleads for his neighbor. For when a few years are finished, I shall go the way of no return. My spirit is broken. My days are extinguished. The grave is ready for me. Are not mockers with me? And does not my eye dwell on their provocation? Now put
I am so sorry if you can hear my dogs in the background. They're going crazy, but I cannot go downstairs and check on them. So someone else is going to have to. So I apologize if you hear them.
down a pledge for me with yourself. Who is he who will shake hands with me? For you have hidden their heart from understanding. Therefore you will not exalt them. He who speaks flattery to his friends, even the eyes of his children will fail. But he has made me a byword of the people, and I have become one in whose face men spit. My eye has also grown dim because of sorrow, and all my members are like shadows. Upright men are astonished at this, and the innocent stirs himself up against the hypocrite. Yet the righteous will hold to his way, and he who has clean hands will be stronger and stronger. But please, come back again, all of you, for I shall not find one wise man among you. My days are past. My purposes are broken off, even the thoughts of my heart. They change the night into day. The light is near, they say, in the face of darkness. If I wait for the grave as my house, if I make my bed in the darkness, if I say to corruption, you are my father, and to the worm, you are my mother and my sister, where then is my hope? As for my hope, who can see it? Will they go down to the gates of Sheol? Shall we have rest together in the dust? Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, how long till you put an end to words, gain understanding, and afterward we will speak? Why are we counted as beasts and regarded as stupid in your sight? You who tear yourself in anger, shall the earth be forsaken for you? Or shall the rock be removed from its place? The light of the wicked indeed goes out, and the flame of his fire does not shine. The light is dark in his tent, and his lamp beside him is put out. The steps of his strength are shortened, and his own counsel casts him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walks into a snare. The net takes him by the heel, and a snare lays hold of him. A noose is hidden for him on the ground, and a trap for him in the road. Terrors frighten him on every side, and drive him to his feet. His strength is starved, and destruction is ready at his side. It devours patches of his skin. The firstborn of death devours his limbs. He is uprooted from the shelter of his tent, and they parade him before the king of terrors. They dwell in his tent who are none of his. Brimstone is scattered on his dwelling. His roots are dried out below, and his branch withers above. The memory of him perishes from the earth, and he has no name among the renowned. He is driven from light into darkness, and chased out of the world. He has neither son nor posterity among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. Those in the west are astonished at his day, as those in the east are frightened. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him who does not know God. Then Job answered and said, "How long will you torment my soul and break me in pieces with words? These 10 times you have reproached me. You are not ashamed that you have wronged me. And if indeed I have erred, my error remains with me. If indeed you exalt yourselves against me and plead my disgrace against me, know then that God has wronged me and has surrounded me with his net. If I cry out concerning wrong, I am not heard. If I cry aloud, there is no justice. He has fenced up my way so that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness in my paths. He has stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. He breaks me down on every side, and I am gone. My hope he has uprooted like a tree. He has also kindled his wrath against me, and he counts me as one of his enemies. His troops come together and build up their road against me. They encamp all around my tent. He has removed my brothers far from me, and my acquaintances are completely estranged from me. My relatives have failed, and my close friends have forgotten me. Those who dwell in my house and my maidservants count me as a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I call my servant, but he gives no answer. I beg him with my mouth. My breath is offensive to my wife, and I am repulsive to the children of my own body. Even young children despise me. I arise, and they speak against me. All my close friends abhor me, and those whom I love have turned against me. My bone clings to my skin and to my flesh, and I have escaped by the skin of my teeth. Have pity on me. Have pity on me, O you, my friends, for the hand of God has struck me. Why do you persecute me as God does, and are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book, that they were engraved on a rock with an iron pen and lead forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at last on the earth. And after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another. How my heart yearns within me. If you should say, how shall we persecute him? Since the root of the matter is found in me, be afraid of the sword for yourselves, for wrath brings the punishment of the sword, that you may know there is a judgment. Then Zophar, the Naamathite, answered and said, Therefore my anxious thoughts make me answer, because of the turmoil within me. I have heard the rebuke that reproaches me, and the spirit of my understanding causes me to answer. Do you not know this of old, since man was placed on earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment? Though his haughtiness mounts up to the heavens, and his head reaches to the clouds, yet he will perish forever like his own refuse. Those who have seen him will say, 'Where is he?' He will fly away like a dream and not be found. Yes, he will be chased away like a vision of the night. The eye that saw him will see him no more, nor will his place behold him any more. His children will seek the favor of the poor, and his hands will restore his wealth. His bones are full of his youthful vigor, but it will lie down with him in the dust."
I don't know, guys. It's crazy. I hope that that Job gets some resolution here in the next couple chapters, because I'm kind of feeling bad for him a little bit. He just seems so tortured and why me? Why is God doing this? Um yeah, it's just a little rough. But all I could think about too was what I was saying earlier, was about how God allows bad things to happen. And I sometimes think about I'm still trying to get answers, basically. So let me give you an example. Recently, I saw a video about this school shooting that happened. I don't know, it was a few months ago or something. I don't remember the timeline. Anyways, so this school shooter showed up to the school, and there was a bunch of little kids playing in the play area outside, and that's where he showed up. Well, he passed them and went inside and, shot up. And I don't know if anyone died or how many people died, but when they asked him, hey, why didn't you shoot at these kids? And he's like, I didn't see them. And then some of the kids told their parents that that day, these are little kids, I don't know, kindergartner, preschool, little kid age. And they were some of them were telling their parents that there was this bright gold or something sphere, something over, some kind of veil or something over the thing. And a lot of them were people were saying, oh, that was God and his angels protecting these children. Guys, my very first thought when I watched this video was, what about all the other kids and people in the other school shootings that God didn't save, that God didn't protect? That was my first thought. And I don't have answers. That's something that I'm still in my heart searching for, because there are some bad things that I see how God allows, and I get it. Going back to my daughter, I allow her to, go outside, run around. She falls, she scrapes a little bit, fine. But I'm not allowing her to, you know, climb something high and then, walk around and then possibly fall off, or climb a tree and just leaving her unattended. I'm not doing something super dangerous. I'm allowing her to do, something that could result in not that much danger. Maybe a little scraped up, little blood, nothing crazy. I mean, worst case scenario, she falls on her arm wrong, maybe breaks an arm bone. I don't know. But I mean, I'm close by. I'm not really allowing her to do anything too crazy. Versus, say if I um, let her go swimming alone, or, something crazy. So it goes back to bad things that happen in the world. That, there's really, really bad things, like people being tortured, murdered, raped, little children being trafficked, drugs. I mean, just horrible things. And then you have bad things where someone gets bullied, or, you know, I don't know. I can't even think of things right now. Someone gets beat up, or, you know, uh, is in an abusive relationship with someone, or, I don't know. There's really, really bad things, and then there's, bad things but like, such is life. So it goes to, you know, the question of, why does God protect certain people? Why does God not protect certain people? Why does God allow certain really bad things to happen, especially to people that don't deserve it? You know, I think about women that have been, you know, raped, and uh and I think about the women that really just like freak accidents, you know, don't deserve it. Something happens and it's horrific and horrible. And I think, why does God let that happen? And then you see the articles about children who are left to die tragically, or are tortured, or just horrible things, you know? And it fills my heart with so much anguish, because if I had to take a guess from my own personal experience, I would say that that question right there is probably the biggest, most common reason that people struggle with believing in God. And I don't mean just believing in Him, like, yeah, He's real. I mean believing in Him, having trust in Him, having faith in Him, following Him, turning to Him as our God. Because you see the bad things that happen, you hear about it, you read about it, and you think, how could God let that happen? How come those little children were protected from the school shooter, but many other school shootings have happened? That's all I could think about was, as a parent myself, that would be my first question. Yeah, it's great that those children were saved. Oh, amazing. But my first thought as a parent, if one of my children were killed by a school shooter, I would have been like, why didn't God protect my child? Why did God protect those children? And I know that part of the reason is, you know, I pray for my daughter all the time. I pray for her safety. I pray for her protection. I pray for my protection, my husband, all kinds of people. But it just, there's so many questions. Like, what if, like, someone just doesn't genuinely know of God and believe in God like I did for so long? So I didn't know to pray for protection. And you know what I mean? Like, I just, it makes my brain hurt. That is a question that really plagues me, is like, why does God allow really bad things to happen? Just horrible things that you think like is just so evil and dark and horrible, and then it's just like, why? And that is something that I struggle with. But on the flip side, I do have faith and trust in God, and I do have faith in Him and trust Him. But then there's that flesh human part of me that has had bad things happen to me and has had a rough life so far. So there's that, you know, where it's like, I know both sides. And so it's like, why does God do that? But at the same time, I believe and have faith in Him. So I feel like there's like two parts of me right now that are like fighting, you know, inside me, in my heart, in my soul. And I want to answer that question. I want to have peace with the question of, why does God allow like these really dark and evil things to happen, especially to people that just seem so not deserving of it, especially children, you know. um I don't know. It's hard. It's difficult. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that there's days like right now where I'm like, it's difficult to put my 100% no doubt faith and trust in God when, you I just read an article like yesterday about this mom who was in a custody battle with her husband, soon to be ex-husband, and she went and took their 5-year-old son and killed him, shot him in the head in a park, and then shot herself. And it's just like, I have no words, it's like it's a difficult thing to find peace with that. And I think that I'm going to continue down this road, and I'm going to continue looking for answers and looking for peace with trusting that God has his reasons. But I'd be lying if I didn't say it's hard sometimes. Like, I can feel myself right now, like, getting upset with God. Like, why? Why do you allow these things to happen? I can feel myself right now, just like getting getting upset and getting angry at God for allowing these things to happen. I don't know, guys. It's a tough. It's tough. It's very tough. It's not easy, and I'm not going to give up because I do feel in my heart and soul that God is the way. He is good, and I can trust and have faith in him. But there are still things that I want answers. I want to have peace with these questions, with these thoughts. And so I'm going to keep searching, and I will let you guys know as I learn and figure things out. Um, but yeah, it's not easy. And I can feel myself like feeling upset with God. But just because I'm upset and I'm not understanding these things and why he allows really bad things to happen doesn't mean that I can't still follow him and believe in him and keep going down this road. Have you, I mean, just because you have, like my husband, just because we get in a fight or he does something that I really don't like and I'm like, oh, why'd you do that? Like, and get mad at him for it, doesn't mean I'm going to be like, okay, let's break up and go our separate ways and never talk again. You get mad sometimes, same with your parents, same time, sometimes your kid does something that you're like, what the heck was that? My daughter head butts me almost every night, and I'm like, it pisses me off because I'm like, what the heck? And it hurts me. But, I still love her and want to keep her in my life. I'm not going to just like toss her to the side because she does something to hurt me, whether on accident or purpose. On purpose, it's just an example, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you get upset with your parents sometimes. You don't always agree with everything they do, but you still love them and want them in your life, and you want a relationship with them. It's the same with God. Just because I'm upset with him right now, and trying to figure out like why he allows really bad things to happen, doesn't mean that I'm just going to toss him to the side and just give up on him, because I know he's not going to give up on me. I've prayed actually about this to make sure he doesn't give up on me and to keep me from not giving up on him. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pray about this and just ask God to help me get answers with this and peace with this, because it is something that really causes me turmoil deep in my heart about why God allows these really horrific things to happen and why he saves certain people and not others. Like the school shooting with the kids. That's a really, really good example of why did God protect those children and not others? And especially as a parent, that hits home to me, because if that was my daughter, whether protected or not, I would want to know, like, why? Why? Why'd you protect those kids and not other children? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's just one of those things that I think it really hits home for a lot of people. And I think that that's a big, 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 big barrier for lots and lots of people of why it's hard for them to give themselves fully to God and really believe and trust and have faith in him. Especially I've seen so many videos of people who were believing in God and followed him, and then something bad happened or traumatic, and then they pulled away from God because they were like, why did you do that? Why did you let that happen? Why did you do that? Why did you take this person from me this way? Or why did you take this person at all? Or why did you allow this to happen? You know, like something traumatic or bad happened. And then people are like, ooh, wait, hold on. And then they're upset with God. And then they have this turmoil against God because they're like, why did you do that? Why did you allow that to happen? Why? I don't understand. And I think that that's a big obstacle for people when it comes to God and believing in him and following him and having trust and faith in him. And that is something I really, really want to dig into and learn and get answers and peace with that. I really, really want that because, I think that that's something really, really substantial and important when it comes to breaking down that barrier for a lot of people so that they can get close to God and feel the love and the warmth and the faith and comfort in God that he can give us, if only we can get past that barrier, get past that obstacle. Guys, I'm gonna have to pray. But I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know what I find out. And if anyone has any like thoughts on this, or like ways that they deal with this like question of why does God let really bad things happen, like please let me know, because like it is a big question and I would love to get some peace with it, because it is a question that keeps coming up and keeps coming up for me. And I think the reason it's coming up again right now is because of this right now, this book with Job, and how God is allowing Satan to mentally torture Job, and he gave him like what, boils or a sickness, a physical sickness too, on top of that. He allowed Satan to do that to him. So it's like, why? I mean, I don't know if it's gonna reveal that answer or not, but it leads me back to that question of why does God let really bad things happen, especially to people like children and like just you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It's tough, guys. I'm gonna get going, so I'm gonna pray, but I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with a calmer mind, because I'm getting all worked up right now. All right, guys. Bye.